Aisha was a young girl who lived in a small, modest house with her family. Her mother worked as a maid in the nearby neighborhood, and though they did not have much, their home was filled with love, laughter, and care for each other. Every morning, Aisha would wake up early to help her mother clean, cook, and get everything ready for the day. Even after finishing her chores, she would rush to school, carrying her worn-out bag, her heart full of dreams, and a hope for a better future. She never complained about the struggles her family faced. Instead, she learned to find joy in small things and happiness in helping others. One afternoon, after finishing her school, Aisha was walking home along the dusty streets. The sun was shining brightly, and the air was warm, filled with the sounds of vendors calling out and children playing. She decided to take a shortcut through the busy street to catch the bus, hoping it would get her home quickly so she could finish her homework and help her mother with the evening chores. As she reached the bus stop, she noticed a small crowd gathered, everyone trying to find space to get on the bus. People were talking loudly, some were arguing over who should get in first, and the noise made her feel slightly overwhelmed. In the middle of this crowd, she saw an elderly woman standing near the bus, looking confused and worried. The woman seemed to be counting coins over and over, checking and rechecking her small purse. Her hands were trembling slightly, and she looked around, hoping someone would help her. Aisha observed her quietly for a moment and realized that the woman didn't have enough money to pay for the fare. Other passengers were pushing past, not noticing the woman, too busy with their own rush and concerns. Aisha felt a gentle nudge in her heart, a feeling that told her she should help. She did not think about the money she had in her own pocket or the little she had saved for herself. Her mind was focused only on the elderly woman, on how uncomfortable she must feel and how embarrassed she might be standing there in the crowd. Without overthinking, Aisha stepped forward and placed her hand softly on the woman's arm, offering a kind smile. "I can help you," she said in a calm voice. The elderly woman looked up at her, her eyes wide with surprise. She tried to protest, shaking her head gently. "Oh no, dear, you don't have to do that," she said softly, her voice gentle but trembling. Aisha only smiled more warmly and shook her head. "It's okay," she replied. "I want to help." She reached into her small purse and pulled out the coins she had saved from her pocket money. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough to cover the bus fare. She handed it over to the woman quietly, trying to make her feel comfortable. The woman's eyes filled with tears, and she placed her hand over Aisha's hand for a moment, overwhelmed by the unexpected kindness of a young girl she had never met before. The bus driver called out, signaling that the bus would leave in a few moments. Aisha smiled once more, wished the woman a safe journey, and watched as she slowly stepped onto the bus. The elderly woman looked back at her once more, a soft smile on her face, and then she disappeared into the crowd, leaving Aisha standing there, feeling a quiet sense of satisfaction. She didn't expect anything in return, but inside, she felt lighter, as if helping someone had lifted a small weight off her own heart. As Aisha continued her journey home, she thought about what had just happened. She knew that life could be hard, and that not everyone was kind or thoughtful. But she also knew that moments like these, small acts of kindness, could make a big difference. She remembered how her mother often told her that even the smallest gesture could touch someone's heart and maybe even change their day. Today, she had experienced it herself, and it felt amazing. Walking through the streets, she noticed how the people around her were busy with their own worries and routines. No one else had noticed what had happened at the bus stop. It was as if she had shared a secret moment with the elderly woman, a moment of connection that went beyond words or wealth or status. Aisha's thoughts wandered to her own family and the little challenges they faced each day. She felt grateful for what she had, even if it wasn't much by other people's standards. Her heart was filled with a quiet pride. She had helped someone in need without expecting anything in return. And that simple act, paying the bus fare for a stranger, made her feel like she was capable of kindness that mattered. Aisha walked home slowly, savoring the feeling, enjoying the small peace that had settled in her heart. She knew that this was just one small action, but she also felt that one day, small actions like these could lead to something bigger, something meaningful. By the time she reached her modest home, the sun was beginning to set, casting golden light over the rooftops. Her mother was waiting at the doorway, smiling when she saw Aisha. "How was school?" her mother asked. Aisha smiled back and shrugged, not wanting to mention the encounter just yet. She knew that the real reward of her action was not in telling anyone but in feeling it herself. Inside the house, the familiar smells of dinner filled the air, warm and comforting. Aisha helped her mother set the table and prepare the food, her mind occasionally drifting back to the elderly woman on the bus. She wondered if the woman had reached home safely, and if she had felt even a little relief because of her help. The thought brought a quiet happiness to her evening, making her feel connected to someone she had never known before. As night fell and Aisha prepared for bed, she reflected on the day. The world was full of challenges and people often faced difficulties they could not control. But kindness, she realized, was something simple that anyone could offer. It did not require wealth, fame, or power, just a caring heart and a willingness to help. Aisha closed her eyes with a soft smile, feeling proud of her small act, not because it was heroic, but because it was real and genuine. She fell asleep dreaming about a world where people helped each other more often, where small gestures of kindness were noticed and appreciated. And deep down, she felt that maybe, just maybe, the little things she did today could grow into something bigger tomorrow, changing lives in ways she could not yet imagine. This thought filled her with hope and a quiet excitement, as she drifted into a peaceful sleep, unaware that the elderly woman she helped that day was someone far more important than she could ever have guessed, and that her simple, kind-hearted gesture would soon lead to a life-changing encounter. A few days after that sunny afternoon at the bus stop, Aisha's life went on as usual. She went to school, helped her mother with chores, and spent time with her little siblings. But even in the midst of her normal routine, her mind kept drifting back to the elderly woman she had helped. She wondered who she really was, where she was going, and if that small gesture had made any real difference. Little did she know, someone important had noticed her kindness, and it would soon lead to something extraordinary. Meanwhile, the elderly woman, Mrs. Farida Khan, had been quietly observing the world around her. Known in her circle as a billionaire with a reputation for generosity, she had grown accustomed to people being polite for appearances or treating her differently because of her wealth. But that day, on the bus, she experienced something she rarely saw. The young girl who had offered her help had done so without hesitation, without judgment, and without seeking anything in return. It was genuine, it was rare, and it touched her heart in a way she had not felt for years. Mrs. Farida kept thinking about the girl's soft smile, her calm voice, and the innocence in her gesture. She could have easily ignored her, or simply offered her thanks and moved on. But she had seen the effort the girl had made to notice her, to step in and help when no one else cared. In a world where so many people only looked at the surface, this act stood out. It reminded her that true kindness did not come with wealth, influence, or power. It came from the heart. Determined to find the girl who had touched her so deeply, Mrs. Farida spoke to the bus driver and a few nearby shopkeepers to gather information. She learned that the girl lived not too far away with her mother, who worked as a maid in the neighborhood. With a clear picture in mind, Mrs. Farida made a decision. She wanted to meet the girl again, to show her that genuine acts of kindness mattered and to give her an opportunity that could shape her future. Aisha, on the other hand, remained blissfully unaware of the attention she had drawn. Her days were filled with schoolwork, helping her mother clean and cook, and playing with her younger siblings. She loved life in her own simple way. She took joy in small things, like helping a neighbor carry groceries or sharing her lunch with a friend who forgot hers. She never expected recognition or reward. Her happiness came from making someone else feel better, even in the smallest way. One evening, as Aisha was finishing her homework, her mother came into the room with a soft, unusual excitement in her voice. "Aisha, someone wants to meet you," she said carefully, her eyes filled with curiosity and slight nervousness. Aisha looked up from her books, confused. "Who?" she asked, feeling a mix of curiosity and caution. Her mother explained that a respected woman in the city had asked to meet her, and she had provided details that matched the encounter on the bus. Aisha's heart skipped a beat. She had never imagined that helping someone could lead to anything like this. The next day, with her mother by her side, Aisha walked to the grand mansion where she had been invited. The gates were tall and ornate, and the path leading to the house was lined with well-kept gardens. Aisha felt a mix of awe and nervousness. She had never been inside a house like this, and the sheer size and beauty of it made her feel small, but her courage and curiosity pushed her forward. She reminded herself that she was going there because of something good she had done, and that thought gave her confidence. When Mrs. Farida saw Aisha enter, she greeted her warmly, with a gentle smile that made Aisha feel instantly comfortable. She was not met with formalities or distant politeness. Instead, she felt the sincerity and warmth of a person who genuinely cared. Mrs. Farida invited Aisha to sit and offered her a cup of tea. She asked her questions about school, her family, and her daily life, listening intently and showing interest in every word Aisha spoke. The young girl, who had been nervous at first, soon felt relaxed, realizing that Mrs. Farida was not someone to be feared or treated differently. The conversation naturally turned to the bus incident. Aisha recounted the moment, explaining how she had noticed the woman struggling and felt she should help. She described how she didn't think about the money she had, how she just wanted to make the woman's day easier. Mrs. Farida listened quietly, her eyes reflecting admiration and deep emotion. She told Aisha that her actions were remarkable, that in a world where so many people acted out of self-interest, she had shown real kindness and humanity. Mrs. Farida then shared stories from her own life, about her childhood, the struggles she had faced, and the people who had helped her when she needed it most. She explained that these memories had shaped her, that she had learned the value of compassion and giving without expectation. Hearing this, Aisha felt a connection she had never experienced before. It was as if two worlds, so different in wealth and lifestyle, were meeting in understanding and empathy. As the afternoon went on, Mrs. Farida explained that she wanted to help Aisha pursue her dreams. She mentioned educational opportunities, mentorship, and support for projects that could shape her future. Aisha listened, overwhelmed and grateful, unable to fully comprehend that a simple act of kindness had led to this moment. She felt hope and excitement she had never known before. By the time Aisha left the mansion, her heart was filled with new energy. She walked back home with her mother, sharing her experience and expressing her disbelief at the turn of events. Her mother held her hand, tears in her eyes, proud of her daughter and filled with gratitude for the unexpected opportunity that had come into their lives. Aisha realized that sometimes life rewards those who act with sincerity and a pure heart, not because they seek reward, but because they make a real difference. That night, Aisha lay in bed thinking about the encounter. She thought about how small actions, like paying the bus fare for a stranger, could lead to outcomes beyond imagination. She felt inspired to continue helping others, to keep her heart open, and to trust that kindness never goes unnoticed. Little did she know, this was only the beginning of a journey that would change her life in ways she could never have imagined, all because she had chosen to help someone without expecting anything in return. After the first meeting, Aisha could hardly stop thinking about Mrs. Farida Khan and the unusual turn her life had taken. She returned to her daily routine, but now everything felt different. Even the simple walk to school felt lighter, filled with anticipation for the opportunities that might come her way. Her mind was buzzing with ideas about what she could learn and how she could grow, inspired by the generosity and kindness she had witnessed. Meanwhile, Mrs. Farida made sure to keep in touch with Aisha. She arranged for someone to guide the girl through educational opportunities, helping her apply for scholarships and access resources that had previously been beyond her reach. Each message and call from Mrs. Farida was full of encouragement, gently reminding Aisha that her life could change for the better if she remained focused and committed. It was not just about the material help. Mrs. Farida wanted Aisha to understand that kindness and dedication could open doors that might have seemed impossible before. Aisha's mother was equally amazed and grateful. She had always known her daughter had a kind heart, but now she was witnessing the real-world impact of that goodness. She encouraged Aisha to dream bigger, to believe that she could accomplish anything if she remained true to herself. Aisha felt the warmth of her family's support, which made her determination grow even stronger. She realized that her life could now move in ways she had only imagined in quiet moments before going to sleep. As days passed, Aisha's visits to Mrs. Farida's mansion became more regular. Each visit was different from the last, as Mrs. Farida introduced her to various aspects of life and learning. They discussed books, education, and the importance of giving back to society. Mrs. Farida wanted Aisha to see that life's wealth was not just in money, but in the experiences, knowledge, and compassion one carried. Aisha listened attentively, absorbing every word, feeling inspired to apply these lessons to her own life. During one visit, Mrs. Farida took Aisha through a tour of her philanthropic projects. There were schools, libraries, and community centers, each designed to help those in need. Aisha was amazed at the scale of the work and the dedication involved. But what struck her most was how Mrs. Farida treated everyone she met, regardless of their status. There was no pretense, no special treatment for the rich or powerful. Everyone received the same respect and attention. Aisha realized that this was what true greatness looked like. Mrs. Farida also shared stories from her own childhood, moments when she had faced hardships and relied on the kindness of strangers to get through. These stories made Aisha see that wealth and status did not protect a person from challenges, but a compassionate heart and resilience did. Mrs. Farida emphasized that Aisha's small act of paying the bus fare had shown these same qualities, proving that character and kindness were more important than material wealth. One afternoon, Mrs. Farida introduced Aisha to a group of young students she was mentoring. They shared their goals, dreams, and challenges, and Aisha felt a sense of camaraderie she had never experienced before. She realized that she was part of a larger network of people who believed in making the world a better place through education, kindness, and determination. The realization filled her with confidence and motivated her to work harder in school and in helping others. Aisha also began to notice changes in herself. She felt more confident speaking up in class, asking questions, and sharing her thoughts. She no longer hesitated to offer help to classmates or friends in need. She understood that her actions, no matter how small, could inspire others to act with compassion. Each day became an opportunity to make a difference, and she embraced it wholeheartedly. Her relationship with Mrs. Farida grew deeper over time. They would often sit together and discuss various topics, from the importance of honesty to ways to make small improvements in the community. Aisha learned that success was not measured by money alone, but by how one used their abilities to help others and create positive change. Mrs. Farida encouraged her to explore her own talents, to identify what she loved, and to pursue it with passion and dedication. Aisha also began helping her family in new ways. With the guidance and support from Mrs. Farida, she started small projects to help the neighborhood, like tutoring younger children, organizing community events, and even assisting with small improvements around her home. She realized that her ability to make a difference was not limited to grand gestures. Even small, consistent efforts could bring joy and change to many people's lives. One evening, as she walked home after visiting Mrs. Farida, Aisha reflected on how much her life had changed in such a short time. She thought about the bus ride, the moment she decided to help the elderly woman, and how that simple act had led to an entirely new path. It amazed her that kindness could create ripples far beyond what one could see. The thought encouraged her to continue acting with generosity and empathy, knowing that each act, no matter how small, could have unexpected consequences. Her friends and classmates began to notice a change in her demeanor. She seemed more confident, more thoughtful, and more engaged in helping others. People were drawn to her positive energy and willingness to support those in need. Aisha understood that true influence came not from wealth or status but from the way one treated others and made them feel valued. Her example began to inspire her peers, creating a small but meaningful impact in her school and neighborhood. Throughout this journey, Aisha remained humble. She never boasted about her encounters with Mrs. Farida or the support she was receiving. She knew that her actions were what mattered, not the recognition. Her focus was on learning, growing, and using her opportunities to benefit others, just as Mrs. Farida had shown her. This humility, combined with her natural kindness, made her stand out even more to those around her. In the evenings, Aisha would often write in her journal, documenting her thoughts, dreams, and experiences. She reflected on how far she had come, the lessons she had learned, and the people who had touched her life. Writing became a way to process her feelings and reinforce the values she was developing. She realized that understanding oneself was as important as helping others, and that growth was a continuous journey. The bond between Aisha and Mrs. Farida also brought joy and relief to her mother. She saw her daughter thriving, gaining confidence, and learning to dream bigger than she had ever dared to imagine. The mother felt a sense of peace knowing that Aisha was guided by someone who valued kindness, integrity, and compassion. It gave her hope that her daughter's future would be bright, filled with opportunities and meaningful experiences. Aisha's story slowly began to spread through the community, though she remained modest about it. Neighbors and friends would comment on the changes they saw in her, how she seemed more thoughtful and driven. They noticed the small acts of kindness she continued to perform, and many were inspired to do the same in their own lives. The ripple effect of her actions was starting to take shape, showing that genuine kindness and integrity could influence many lives. Through all these experiences, Aisha learned that life's true rewards came from helping others, learning, and staying true to oneself. She saw that wealth could create opportunities, but it was character and compassion that made a lasting impact. She began to understand that she had the power to shape her own future while positively affecting those around her. Each day became a new chance to grow, help, and inspire, and she embraced it fully. As part 3 of her journey came to a close, Aisha felt a sense of purpose she had never felt before. The young maid's daughter who once walked past busy streets to catch the bus had stepped into a world of possibilities, guided by kindness and mentorship. She knew that her life had changed forever, not because of wealth or fame, but because of her own heart and the genuine connections she had made. And she carried this knowledge forward, ready to face new challenges, embrace opportunities, and continue spreading kindness wherever she went. Over the next few weeks, Aisha's life started to change in ways she had never imagined. Mrs. Farida continued to mentor her, guiding her not just in education but in understanding life, kindness, and responsibility. She encouraged Aisha to dream big, to set goals for herself, and to never let circumstances define what she could achieve. Every meeting brought new lessons, and Aisha eagerly absorbed each one, feeling more confident with every passing day. One afternoon, Mrs. Farida invited Aisha to a community center she had recently funded. The center was filled with children learning new skills, reading books, and participating in activities designed to develop creativity and knowledge. Aisha walked through the rooms, her eyes wide with admiration. She saw children from different backgrounds, some struggling with the challenges of poverty, others simply looking for a safe place to grow and learn. The energy in the center was inspiring, and she felt a deep desire to contribute and help in any way she could. Mrs. Farida noticed Aisha's interest and smiled. She explained that the center was created not just to educate children, but to instill in them values of kindness, hard work, and respect. She encouraged Aisha to volunteer, to help tutor the children, and to share her experiences. Aisha agreed eagerly, feeling excited at the thought of being able to make a difference herself. She realized that the lessons she had learned from Mrs. Farida could now be shared with others, continuing the cycle of kindness. Aisha began spending more time at the center, helping the younger children with their studies and organizing small activities to make learning fun. She taught them simple lessons about sharing, empathy, and helping one another. The children were drawn to her gentle and encouraging nature, and they quickly began to look up to her as a role model. Aisha felt a sense of fulfillment she had never experienced before. She understood that her actions, though small, were creating a meaningful impact in the lives of others. As Aisha continued her work at the center, Mrs. Farida introduced her to some of her closest associates and philanthropic partners. These were people dedicated to helping others, running programs for education, healthcare, and community development. Aisha was fascinated by their work and inspired by their dedication. Mrs. Farida encouraged her to ask questions, learn about the different projects, and think about how she could contribute in meaningful ways. Aisha felt empowered, realizing that her future was now filled with possibilities she had never dreamed of before. During one visit, Mrs. Farida asked Aisha about her own dreams. The young girl spoke about her desire to continue her education, to help her family, and to make a positive impact in her community. Mrs. Farida listened carefully and nodded. She explained that she wanted to support Aisha not just financially but also through mentorship, guidance, and encouragement. She wanted Aisha to see that her potential was limitless if she stayed committed, focused, and true to herself. Aisha felt a surge of determination and gratitude, knowing that she was being given an opportunity to build a brighter future. As the weeks went by, Aisha noticed a transformation in herself. She became more confident in expressing her ideas, more proactive in helping others, and more aware of the opportunities around her. She understood that kindness, determination, and learning were powerful tools that could shape her life and the lives of those around her. Her confidence grew not from recognition or wealth, but from the knowledge that she could make a real difference in the world. One day, Mrs. Farida invited Aisha to a special gathering at her home. It was a small meeting with other young individuals who had been recognized for their acts of kindness and contributions to their communities. Aisha was both excited and nervous. She wondered what it would be like to meet others who shared similar values and goals. When she arrived, she was warmly welcomed by everyone, and she immediately felt at ease. The atmosphere was filled with positivity, encouragement, and mutual respect. During the gathering, Mrs. Farida shared stories of each young person, highlighting their achievements and the ways they had contributed to their communities. When it was Aisha's turn, she shared her story of helping the elderly woman on the bus and how it had led to her meeting Mrs. Farida. She spoke with honesty and humility, focusing on the act itself rather than the recognition it had brought her. The group listened attentively, inspired by her sincerity and the ripple effect of her simple act of kindness. The young people at the gathering exchanged ideas and discussed ways they could work together to create positive change. Aisha felt a sense of belonging and purpose, realizing that she was part of a larger community dedicated to making the world a better place. She understood that kindness, empathy, and action were powerful forces that could bring people together and create meaningful impact. The experience reinforced her commitment to helping others and staying true to the values she had always held dear. Mrs. Farida continued to provide guidance, helping Aisha navigate the challenges of balancing school, family responsibilities, and her growing involvement in community projects. She encouraged her to stay organized, set priorities, and remain focused on her long-term goals. Aisha appreciated the support and advice, knowing that having a mentor like Mrs. Farida was invaluable in shaping her character and future. As part of her growing responsibilities, Aisha also began assisting with events and activities organized by Mrs. Farida's team. She helped plan workshops, coordinate volunteers, and ensure that the children and participants received the support they needed. Through these experiences, she developed leadership skills, problem-solving abilities, and a deeper understanding of the importance of teamwork. She realized that making a difference required not just good intentions but also effort, planning, and perseverance. Aisha's family noticed the changes in her. Her mother saw her daughter becoming more confident, proactive, and compassionate. She felt proud of Aisha's growth and the positive influence she was having on others. Her younger siblings looked up to her, inspired by her example and eager to learn from her experiences. The family's bond strengthened as they shared in Aisha's journey, supporting and encouraging one another along the way. Through it all, Aisha remained humble and grounded. She never forgot her roots, the small home she came from, and the challenges her family faced. She continued to help at home, support her mother, and be a caring sister. She understood that true growth and success did not mean leaving behind her values or the people she loved. Instead, it meant using her opportunities to uplift herself and those around her, creating a better life for everyone she cared about. As part 4 of her story progressed, Aisha's world expanded beyond her immediate surroundings. She began to see the impact of kindness, mentorship, and opportunity in creating change. She learned that one small act of compassion could lead to a chain of events that transformed lives, including her own. Each day brought new experiences, lessons, and challenges, and she embraced them with courage, determination, and an open heart. By the end of this part of her journey, Aisha had grown not only in knowledge and confidence but also in character. She had learned the importance of empathy, responsibility, and dedication. She had discovered the power of small actions and the significance of using opportunities wisely. Her bond with Mrs. Farida had become a source of inspiration, guidance, and support, helping her navigate the complexities of life while staying true to her values. Aisha was now ready to face the next phase of her journey, prepared to continue making a positive impact and embracing the possibilities that lay ahead. Time passed, and Aisha's life continued to evolve in ways she had never imagined when she first helped the elderly woman at the bus stop. Her small act of kindness had grown into a journey of learning, growth, and meaningful impact. Each day she woke up with a sense of purpose, eager to continue her education, help her family, and make a positive difference in her community. The confidence and knowledge she had gained from Mrs. Farida Khan were invaluable, and she used them wisely, with humility and gratitude. Aisha's work at the community center had become an important part of her life. She continued to tutor children, organize activities, and help run programs that aimed to develop skills, creativity, and compassion. The children adored her, and she became a source of inspiration and guidance for them. Seeing their progress and smiles motivated her to work even harder, reinforcing the understanding that small efforts, when done consistently, could lead to significant change. Her connection with Mrs. Farida also deepened. The billionaire had become not just a mentor but a true guide and friend. They spent hours discussing not only educational goals but also values, ethics, and ways to navigate challenges in life. Mrs. Farida taught Aisha that success was measured not by wealth or status, but by the positive impact one had on others and the integrity with which one lived life. Aisha embraced these lessons fully, shaping her decisions and actions with care and thoughtfulness. With Mrs. Farida's support, Aisha also began to explore her own passions. She found joy in teaching, writing, and helping those in need. She realized that her voice and actions could inspire change and encourage others to act with kindness. Her life had shifted from merely focusing on survival and daily routines to embracing opportunities to create a lasting impact. The experience taught her that talent, dedication, and empathy could open doors to possibilities she had never dared to imagine. As her influence grew, Aisha also became more aware of the broader challenges in her community. She saw children struggling to access quality education, families facing financial hardships, and people lacking basic resources. This awareness strengthened her resolve to help wherever she could. She began organizing small campaigns with the support of Mrs. Farida's team, raising awareness, collecting donations, and providing assistance to those in need. Each initiative, no matter how small, made a tangible difference, and Aisha found joy in knowing that her efforts were improving lives. At home, her family witnessed her transformation with pride and admiration. Her mother, who had always been proud of her daughter's heart, now saw her stepping into a role of influence and responsibility. Aisha continued to help with household chores, support her younger siblings, and care for her family with unwavering love. She understood that while her opportunities had expanded, staying grounded and connected to her roots was essential. Her family's support remained her foundation, giving her the strength to pursue her goals while maintaining her humility. Aisha also faced challenges along the way. Balancing school, community work, family responsibilities, and personal growth was not always easy. There were days when she felt tired or overwhelmed, moments when she questioned whether she could manage everything. Yet, the guidance and encouragement from Mrs. Farida, combined with her own determination, kept her moving forward. She learned the importance of perseverance, time management, and prioritizing her efforts to make the most meaningful impact. Through her journey, Aisha's story began to inspire others. People in her community started recognizing her efforts, admiring her dedication, and being motivated by her example. Neighbors, classmates, and friends began participating in small acts of kindness themselves, creating a ripple effect that spread beyond what Aisha had initially imagined. She realized that one small action, when combined with persistence and sincerity, could influence countless lives and cultivate a culture of compassion. As she matured, Aisha also reflected on the personal growth she had experienced. She had become more empathetic, understanding the struggles of others while maintaining hope and positivity. Her confidence had grown, not from recognition or praise, but from knowing that she was capable of meaningful action. She had learned the value of patience, humility, and consistent effort, and these qualities guided her in every decision she made. Aisha understood that life was a journey of learning and giving, and she embraced it wholeheartedly. Mrs. Farida continued to play a crucial role in Aisha's life, offering guidance and support in moments of doubt and celebration. She encouraged Aisha to pursue higher education, explore career paths that aligned with her values, and continue helping her community. Mrs. Farida emphasized the importance of staying true to oneself, making ethical choices, and using opportunities to create positive change. Aisha cherished this mentorship, understanding that it was a rare gift that could shape her future in profound ways. One memorable day, Aisha was invited to speak at a small gathering organized by Mrs. Farida. She shared her story of paying the bus fare for an elderly woman, the lessons she had learned, and the impact it had had on her life. She spoke with honesty, humility, and sincerity, emphasizing that acts of kindness, no matter how small, could create lasting effects. The audience, composed of young students and community members, was moved by her words, inspired to act with compassion, and encouraged to seek opportunities to make a difference. Aisha realized that her journey was not just about personal growth, but about creating a lasting legacy of empathy and service. She understood that wealth and resources were powerful tools, but the true measure of impact lay in the ability to uplift others, inspire change, and cultivate a culture of kindness. Her life had transformed from a modest existence into one filled with purpose, opportunity, and meaningful connections, all rooted in a single moment of generosity at a bus stop. As she continued her work, Aisha maintained her humility and grounded nature. She never forgot the lessons from her upbringing, the values instilled by her family, and the importance of small gestures of kindness. She continued helping her family, her neighbors, and the children at the community center, ensuring that her actions were always guided by empathy and integrity. Her story became a beacon of hope, showing that even those with humble beginnings could create significant change through sincerity, dedication, and compassion. Looking back, Aisha often reflected on the day she helped the elderly woman on the bus. That simple act, born from a pure heart, had set in motion a journey that reshaped her life. It led her to meet Mrs. Farida, receive mentorship and guidance, gain confidence, and inspire others. She realized that acts of kindness are never wasted, and the choices we make in small moments can have profound effects, far beyond what we can imagine. As Part 5 concludes, Aisha stands as a young woman transformed by experience, opportunity, and compassion. Her life is a testament to the power of empathy, generosity, and perseverance. From a simple gesture at a bus stop to mentoring children, helping her community, and inspiring those around her, Aisha's journey demonstrates that true impact comes from the heart. She continues to embrace each day with gratitude, purpose, and a commitment to making the world a better place, knowing that her actions, no matter how small, carry the potential to change lives in unimaginable ways.